What I want you to say to yourself time and time again is, I am the wholeness. I am the oneness. I am the higher self. I am the Christ consciousness. I am the Holy Spirit. Whatever you want to call it. The more you say it to yourself, the more you put yourself in alignment to where you are actually that face of the highest self on this planet. You can't describe it. You can't come to understand your name as a vibration, a representative of that oneness state, until you start to incorporate it into your everyday. Right now, there's so much chaos. It's hard to state that everything is perfect as it is. It's hard to recognize it within yourself in order to be able to deliver that vibration of wholeness to everyone else on this planet. But that's what I'm talking about here today. The more that you recognize your higher state, your higher self, the oneness within you, the more you say it to yourself, the more you practice it so that someone else can say it, so that they start to recognize it within themselves, the more the planet will start to face its higher self. The more everything that's going on these days, and it's always tumultuous on some place on the planet, will start to recognize its higher state of stillness, of oneness, of a higher consciousness that permeates everything we ever thought we wanted to know in this lower state of individuality, if you will. I just want everyone to know and to be able to recognize within themselves where they are whole. It starts with us. One person who no longer wants to know the division from what started all of this within themselves can change the entire lower state, this world that we now know of as ours. I hope you will come to know yourself as wellness within the higher self, a wellness state where you perceive the richness of all that we are, and that no matter how we color ourselves or how we present ourselves in this world, we know who we are. We are the oneness. We are beyond every aspect that identifies us as an individual. And if you will allow yourself to feel that within yourself, you will feel it within everyone else as well. It is innate. There's no one individual on this planet who cannot be of the highest self there is, of the source that started this all. There is no one individual who could remain separate from it within their own consciousness forever. There is no one who wouldn't start to quest for that sense of oneness, that sense of belonging somewhere within rather than without. At some point, everyone will want to know their wholeness. So if we begin with one individual, just one person who wants to know their higher self, it starts a vibration that we share with the entire world. Now imagine if everybody wanted to know their higher state, that sense of oneness within themselves. They would only need to wonder about it in order to create its accomplishment. Just to wonder, to relinquish my sense of being an individual self and to wonder about where I remain as whole is an accomplishment. When I turn my gaze from my outside world to within, and I wonder about myself as being whole, I start to gaze upon it. And more than that, when I speak of it as becoming an accomplishment, it's when it starts to vibrate. Just such a gentle vibration, most people will not even notice it. But it begins. What more can we want to know than that, than where we are whole on behalf of everyone else? For if I want to know it for my own benefit, I'm locking in my sense of being an individual. And that doesn't lift the higher self within the whole population, which is what I want to know. I want the entire lower self, and that includes every individual, the planet itself, and everything upon it, to recognize that it did not begin as an individual. It came from an original consciousness, and even beyond that we cannot know, but it came from a source. And that source is inextricable from where you know yourself as a human. It's not that you are something that dropped off of it and are somehow separate and are floating away from it. You too have that sense of wholeness, that sense of source within yourself that just has and knows a gentle emanation. It knows its way back to itself, back to its self-recognition. It simply wants to say, to state, as we started off with, I am whole. I am the oneness. I am the source itself. I am the Christ consciousness that represents it and can give this kind of speech or dictation to someone else so that they can know themselves as whole. Whatever you want to call it. It is so beyond any concept of a religious state. These are just the words we now know. But you will feel it. You will feel it within yourself when you want to investigate yourself as source. And so sometimes when you simply state it, I am whole, I am the oneness, I am source, you begin a recognition within yourself. You feel its gentle vibration. And you feel so wonderful that you only want that vibration so that you can share it with someone else. There is no other way to stay whole than to not think of yourself as an individual. That original consciousness cannot perceive of itself as an individual because there is nothing else. So when we say we want you to say it, we want you to express that you are more than this individual that you now know. We are not asking you to acknowledge your magnificence as an individual. We are asking you to remember your wholeness on behalf of everyone else, on behalf of the whole planet, if you will. So the more that you want to say it, the more that you create that vibration that you come to know and recognize every day, and the more you will give up your aspects of being an individual, your consciousness, which predominates your everyday thought in this world, will start to say, I am whole. I don't need to investigate this because I simply know. And so you will stop searching for it in everything else. You will stop investigating for your sense of value or self-worth by comparing yourself to another individual. For that is what we have happening today. It's innate within every individual to want to know themselves. The only skill and tool we have in this lower self is comparison. So it's natural and it's okay. It's when we take it so that we put someone else on a different level, on a lower state from ourselves, that it becomes dangerous. And it's not our natural state. And so you will not feel well yourself if you designate someone else as not being whole, as being less than, as not being as magnificent or wonderful as the oneness, the wholeness, the highest state itself. You are capable of controlling your witness of this world, of someone else, of another individual. It may not feel like you want to know your oneness, and so that's why you are accessing it on behalf of everyone else. You may feel like you don't have any value in this world, and so you want to research it for someone else. But the truth is, you really just want to stay in the wholeness. You really just want to stay yourself. And so we'll bless you with that. Amen.